야, 당가서 대용다 저와 근지 동보 얘기인데 집에 가르쳐 주세요. 네, 로테들라 노요 머레시스. 이제 된 바시들라 조와도. 시에도 니시 만게 잡아서 이제 대체비 제노 총하쇼스네. 네, 면허지 좀 버렸어.
So just to begin with this quote from the one writing by the first His Holiness Dalai Lama, Gendundup, Jawa Gendundup. This is a piece of his writing as a homage to Tara. So which says that may I never engage in fulfilling the selfish purpose, but engage only in fulfilling the purpose of other sentient beings, and then may I meet all the favorable conditions for fulfilling the welfare of other beings, such as divine eyes, clairvoyances, excellent communications, patience, and so forth.
네, 다들이 면허티 된다 가르친 거라서는 다시 또 고대본데와. 네, 다티 다 롱델 레와다 드니가 매와. 아니 제대 코나 접이 그시다. 다 디근 특전텔라. 아니 시행하다. 녜실라소, 녜신 줄라소비니 시와쇼스네. 아니 면허자가 요레스.
So, without needing to, explain, because this line, speaks the meaning. It's, it's said very clearly. So, in this, prayers, we find that how the prayer we pray for the accomplishment of all this. Like this, the sublime eyes, clairvoyances, and all this, and so forth, so that we will be able to, to prevent, to overcome all the wish or the intention to pursue any selfish. Purpose, selfish purpose, and but be able to only then to engage in fulfilling the wishes or the welfare of all other sentient beings. So in here, this such achieving such the qualities of like clairvoyance and sublime eyes and so forth. So these are clearly. Recognized as the very suitable conditions to be able to fulfill the welfare of other sentient beings.
Jawa genda Tsering, Jawa kati tombore de yore. Ani ta shonju sema, ani chimeshi, antinishi rede yasare. Te koranga, ni karisena koranga nondala chizi waina. Non ta tiginul ta motsawatani momboshi yore ta tinune ni chepatani kutse metawala ta kuru gitu mombo keroche mombo tu nyonde shil nyamachi judi sala ni ta kuru gulo yats pet ni za ni gitu itani shiga ta ni germboche ntan dne shinkone pesuna ni shinko kawa pe ins kasane gumba zusuna
la
신고 전발 거 배인스
구세멜라 고랑 기도도 냠돌
냠돌다 개천하시 되더라
라라
안데 기티지 콜라네 아니 단데네 군바주 세크와 시엘 페소나 아니 신고 가와 배이스네
제일 무슨 쉬어버렸어
야 쉬디살라 아니 다 공기 가르쳐 버렸으나 나 신고는 로지 차이 찍고메스 나 senje 강이 가와에나 루파 가르쳐 그거는 다 쏠라 도와질 지네 이 쏠라 아니 루파 좀 해야 안트노지 시에 그 명하자고 예스네 안트니 그 레노야 같은 loji oresra.
No. So the Gyawra Gendundrup, who was of course in the line of the His Holiness Dalai Lama, so he was the recognized first Dalai Lamas, and also he was considered as like an unmistaken like a bodhisattvas, and so this we can if we read the life stories of the first Dalai Lamas, then you can find we can understand all this. And for instance, towards the end of his life, at one time this Gyawra Gendundrup had all his students together, and then also at that time, then he, as he was Gendundrup, as you also know, he was also a disciple of the Tsongkhapas. So at that time, he did together while in the presence of all his students. So he asked the Tsongkhapas that now.
Korang gitu, jah dentral korang tiursel, Tsongkhapa yo marta.
Allah, ini Tsongkhapa lar. Korang kawat urat lar. Okay,
jah
so.
gitu bati, shonji semang ini imbar jode kiawa.
No. Okay, sorry. So he asked he was a student of the disciple of the Tsongkhapas, and so at that time when he was with a group of his students, and then these students asked the question to the Gendundrup whether after he leave this world, where will he go? Which Pure Land he will go? Would he go? And then the Gendundrup replied that he has no plan or the intention to go to any Pure Land, but his wish was to go to the place wherever there is a much a need to benefit other sentient beings, and so this just was gives some sort of the indication that how he was truly a bodhisattva.
Ani tendiri shehu tomba jiga tanga so ni jel shewa shu sene melo jaya ga shendo nye shela supala ni tandanga tsuki loju chiga yores.
So it is true, as we find, we take note of is that the praise, homage to the Taras. So where is Gyawra Gendundrup as a bodhisattva. So he prayed that to be able to accomplish such the power, the spiritual power of clairvoyances and the six the divine eyes and so forth, which we have been studying, and so this kind of the indicates that to us that how all these spiritual qualities are a very a favorable condition, sort of a factor to be able to engage in engaging in the bodhisattva's deeds.
대원은 지수 전개의 수준에서 대칭이 도제다. 아니 다든지 네 명어자에 근데가 아니 진짜 아니 다 맞췄디 시에도 니실라 소발로 유체 슝아데라 아니 소소소 지수 이런 거면 거네 아니 투토위 거네 아니 티니 로주시 제타나야 보여서 와도 시야 맞췄지 니시에다 지지 야지 시엔다 지지시들은 청초고 야지 잡이포로는 지 나버지 중가자 등에 손으로 야 중보지가 잡이 보러는 어떤 나버지 중가자 등에 손으로 나지 돈대나 야 보면 됐어와 맞아 지서 이로 관계 아니 되는 로주 체크 그래서
So it's we've been studying on this the topic of this of how to achieve this sublime eyes and clairvoyances and so forth, and so it's even though all these qualities maybe we may see as something which is really far beyond our reach, but it's important, in the light of this, how these are the qualities which are even the bodhisattvas, true bodhisattvas, are pursuing and aspiring to achieve, and because they see these qualities as something very important, very suitable factors to engaging in the bodhisattva's deeds. So therefore, it's important that we should at least, trying to feel some sort of sense of admiration, and the rejoicings, and we should at least have a wish that how wonderful if we too have these such qualities, and so that we will be able to can be better equipped in achieving our own ultimate goal, and also the goal for the benefit of to benefiting other sentient beings. Because otherwise, when we don't understand this, the benefits of all these powers, then we may see that, think that this is like something too far for us to realize, and so unrealistic kind of aims, and so we do not see any relevant to these in our spiritual practice, in our spiritual on our spiritual path, and so then what we might say is we don't want to be becoming like studying these texts, these qualities, such a high extraordinary spiritual qualities, as like we are just doing a stock take of the king's treasure, like seeing all the work, how many gems, precious gems that king they have in the treasure. So it should not be like that. Rather, we should understand, recognize this the importance of the benefit of this in achieving that, and then to also to feel very positive about learning about learning, and also then wishing that if we too can have possess these qualities.
Ni jara da lojin rawo ina loji chingina that's this tati delta ni loji tel so nyamba izo de so jigun rigo yare swa de tno zonjin rigo mare ni ne nga so sanwen zomji ta nge nga so ji ji ni sa ma ji xie go yare de ne so so ko ma ndo ne ni de ji loju che de che de la ni jin se mo pe ko ne so no to ne ani de tel pa ta ani nyosle ta ani tni ra chuna tni zo ta ko yore swa
so definitely we should not the approach to this our Dhamma study like we approach in like learning histories, so which is the as soon as we read the whole book and we understand the whole the life, the events of that, those the historical figure, and then we don't have to do anything. We can put this book away. But however, in this, but in learning spiritual, matter, so it is not that. But we, even after studying, we have to reflect on the meaning of this subject matter, and trying to gain to cultivate the deeper understandings of this what we are studying, and so therefore need to we have to continuously to think to contemplate and to meditate, so that in order to, until we can actually actualize all this, what we are contemplating, what we are studying, within ourselves in the form of spiritual inner realizations.
아니 야슈지네 가서티 너니즈 로주지제 고아야 보지라 소나 아니 가서 강간 농배의 주 배상문 볼로 있지래 저서 데디살라더니 메시에다 시한다 드니가 다 실통랑 걸었더니 그 단예 못 볼래 그러 봐 단예 못 볼래 디살라니 나 낸들이 있어서지 따따따따 쟁 뭔가 말아 봐 진솔라 펜도 치 보여 봤어.
And on the other hand, like we are all as as a Buddhist, so we do have an interest in readings, the many like a Buddhist literature, and so therefore we when we read those literature, we do come across all these so many different technical Dharma terms, such as now this term like the clairvoyance and divine eyes and so forth, and so therefore these the engaging in this kind of learning really then broaden our knowledge of the dharmas, and then through that then we can have more whatever text book that we read and we what we study, so we have a more the comprehensions of the content of all these literatures.
Timothy, Aposhisona, ni Tatison, ni Chili Kalkan, ni Chi, the Masheding, so Peshada, ni $10, the Masheding in Mombuyor was normally raw, and it the Niji Salesonaya, only Kozamain, but the Nigun Google Monroe, raw, and Pentuchimbo was.
And also I think the other benefit is that how in this age of technology, so where all the informations are become very accessible, and also we also is very easy, we can also very easy to have some contact with all kind of other teachers who might even give a wrong misleading informations on this such a on Buddhisms, and so therefore after having understanding studying these texts from a very such a authentic scriptures, and so it will help us to at least then to understand when we hear these such teaching, when you listen to lecture of some other people, or read some different books, and so we can at least understand. We won't be kind of misled or misinformed by those most.
다 많다요. 다 고야 보지 마잖아요. 마치 년도 니에 드니 조대와이나 니 보쳐야 보지죠. 니 시스 윤주 아니 첸델 이난다. 니 세시메네 가서 이난다. 윤주 중앙에 있을 레라오지 빼쳐나 그러고서.
Then in the there's also benefit, even if we don't fully understand at the moment the what we are studying here, but there's a benefit. But still, we know that this will be what just simply hearing about these such these topics, we will be leaving a good imprint on our mind, and so therefore, and this imprint will then serve as a cause for in a future for to be able to understand this such subject matter quicker.
대운다 네 티피 보초라 때네 아니 시스 중대살래 아오 예바데 아니 텐데차데 거래 가르스나 맞어 니 파마 지바 있는 그 부근이 야와이나 아니 부근이 때 기계지 잘 로주 셔와이나요 수수 로주 시야 돼 아니 만다와 지 시대와다 지 지는 뭐 시왔더니 용거 여러 와서 가서 대 용화 때더니 이제 작으로 와 단 이제 자이다 시와 마메세나다 근데 그다 보쳐라 이제 작이 되고 왔어 될 로지다 이제 자이라고 말로 드니 인자니 보쳐생이 되면 도르스로 와 배도 되더랬어
So, if we take into account of our own the current situation, like how we can find that people are very different in terms of how quickly they can learn, certain things. So even if, for example, even if there's let's say two, children from the same parents and who've been and both, who've been given the same opportunity of acquiring educations, and how then they will end up very different. One can be very slow, other can be very fast. So when we think of what is the cause, even if in terms of all this the facilities or or the cause conditions, we both have the equal opportunity, all the same condition and everything. And so when we think about this, so the only answer we can find is something to do with their the past life, the karma and the imprint of their past life karmas. And so in this way, we have to recognize that even if we don't fully understand all this subject matter right now, but then still our efforts is not wasted, and because we are whatever we are doing, even listening to teachings, everything we're doing are leaving a good imprint in our mind, implant in some the seeds in our mind, and so these are all become a good cause for us to, even if we don't gain the understanding now, but then to gain the understanding in the future.
다 공다 가서 더 대징이도 제일 우주 지거요래. 대라니 자침불에 자치를 맞지는 바래. 아니 제자네 디우사보레 니 신선한 편도 침불에 대인자네 다 제자 형계가 수요. 드리지 로주 제거에서 될 제자 유로 거네. 단 못을 진리야 보시는 용이 드리서 유로서 무스라.
So as I said before, so we should feel ourselves very fortunate to be able to have this opportunity to study this very profound text by Maitreya, of this the ornament of clear realizations, and the text which contained the teaching on the vast vast and the profound the path, profound path, and so just to feel that, and so in this way we can trying to not just to feel to feel positives about, feel good about only if, when we feel that we are, making some progress in terms of our knowledge, our learning, and in terms of practice. But also just, we should feel positives and feel also very fortunate, just simply having even such an opportunities to study these great texts.
당가 좀 뒤하다는 게 진소하는 말에 대인자 대가월에 있으나 니시 주의치에 되고요. 니시 주문을 네 진짜 증이시 네 리나윙이시 이제시 빙이시 손데 손선바레스.
So we now to continue our study on the teaching on the 6 clairvoyances. So I think we finish the what's the clairvoyance of Kasati Tangbunit Sala clairvoyance of magical emanations, and then of the divine ears which we finished here. And also of knowing others' mind.
다 가른 걸래 되어서는 니네 지대징이 시세이들에 다디 된도한테 가르치거든요. 니시 공시라 네 루제저니 차랑 아마 담아지 네 제스 템비리스네 바스네 어떤 시행도 니네 지대징이 시세이들.
Okay, so the next, so we finished 3. The 4th one is called clairvoyance of recollecting the past states. So this is it is defined as, is the as in the definition statement as we find in the text. It says it is one of the 6 clairvoyances, and belong to a class of recollecting many past life states of others and yourself.
루제지 체라 담마시라.
No.
루제지 체라 하마 담마.
No.
네 제스 템비. 네 리스네 바스네. 셰저레. 대인자다 리네티가 가르되어서나 네 체라 하마 담마세 줘도. 가시가 네 체라 하마 찌마도 하마고 니시 찌마도 게든지 예서와. 저네 체라 하마 담만 챙겨요 말에 찌마도 챙겨요 말에 때 이나요. 담만 챙비 리스네 바나지도 고요레스. 네때 네 에너지도 니시를 도와셔 위치다.
So in this, the wording of these definitions, we find a word. It belongs to a class of recollecting many past lives, states of others and yourself. So this, by including this word, a class of recollecting many past lives, so which is to include even the clairvoyance power, clairvoyance of recollecting only like a single past life, just one single past life. So which is not such the clairvoyance of recollecting a single life is not a clairvoyance of recollecting many past life states of other past life states, but it is still it is considered as belong to a class of recollecting many past lives of past life states of others and yourself.
네 텔라요 그만 노지래 네 니시 다 그만 가지고 니시 노지고 아니 니네 지대 니시 텔라요 네 레지 운기 다 다제리 지고네서다 레지 운기 쉬워다 네 시에도지 쉬워다 네 간다 니스 템비고 네 니시라 소비 네 리만다가 손네 네 여와전 시간도스.
And then this type of this clairvoyance of recollecting the past life, so which when it's classified or categorized merely in terms of recollecting, or remembering the past life, past states, then there are three types, which is similar to the previous types of clairvoyances. So these are the clairvoyance of recollecting the past states arising from karma, and then arising from from birth, from karma, and from like a meditative concentrations.
대원 레지용의 승리들라 다 대송 맞추디 시험하지 전쟁에도 sol라 네 또제지도 살아 몽보지 드니랭스도 가르사 챈델라 호텔까지 적은 우사와다 호크네까지 못하다 와다 전쟁에 몽체와 시험하마 전쟁에 몽체와 드니랭스도 네 고조때 전부 세워이 내가슬라 아니 다 호텔가 종수로와 대인사 전쟁에 되지 몽체와 드니 전부 세위 내가슬라 호텔가 시와도 sol라 전근스 따티소 지금도 하고서 시마 하마 전쟁에도 sol라 다 도제 신주소 드니소 살아 몽체와 드니라고 그랬는데 요즘에 도제 신주도 시행도 아니 다 마탱에 몽체와다 세그러다 나네 지림보 니산을 르바지도 마싱에도 다 또바체와 지자라도 예나마도 아니 마탱 탱게서 말했어와
No. So there are some some stories of the people who who are said to have the memory, have the remembrance of their past lives, and Geshe said, so there's been some lot of research been done on these the stories of the people who remember this past, and this research concludes that this is one common factor. All these people who remember or who talk about their past lives is all related to that death. In most cases, the death occurs in a very sudden way, like suddenly with a car crash or just falling into some accident, falling into into the cliff and so on. So from this, what we can gather is that research also shows that usually at the people who remember this event. That because when in the previous life, so when the death occurs, when they are all their their faculties are all like a normal, very sound. They had a very sound mind, very clear and mind and clear memories, and so and the death has occurred at that kind of periods. And whereas if death occurs after a prolonged period of sickness or occurred as a result of agings, and perhaps then this can be more such people then too is more maybe difficult to remember their in their past life in the future.
That any ngawaterwa li making a chasing it. Any that wrong to jet chiwi lim that it and she thought she was to garden is singing that thing hurt to Paresroa. Any that wrong to tally making a chasing it, wrong to jet chiwi li milatin a chasing jitechi concha zutarong yes at the was. The li making a shaking, singing with the dejon.
So the example of this the clairvoyance power of recollecting the past states, arising from birth and karma and so on. These are all same as the example which was were given for the previous clairvoyance types of clairvoyance. So now the next one clairvoyance is called as the clairvoyance of divine eyes. So which is defined here as it is one of the 6 clairvoyances that arises from its empowering conditions of the causal divine eyes, and can directly see coarse and subtle subtle forms of the universe.
단디노는 아니 단디 도바 가르쳐줬으나 아니 가시가 리 미긴 이제도 나외는 이제여러 완디노라 대니 우시에서 내게도 요래서 대인자대 우시에 말에 대 이시래서 이시임be 가르쳐 가르쳐 저기 도모마임비 도제 지 소대지 이질라 되는 시어래서네 어떤이 저기 요래서
그래서 미다 나외 이가로
미gnesi도 나외gnesi니
no
당기시도 난 로차소 왔더니
no so in so there's a caution relating to this the nature of a divine divine eyes and divine like a divine ear, the clairvoyance of divine ear and divine eyes, whether they are a sense, the consciousness, sense consciousness, or they are mental consciousness, and so it is said here that they must be both must be a mental consciousness, and why there must be mental consciousness is because they arise as an effect, as a result of the development of the mental meditative concentrations. So that's for that reason. So they both are both these clairvoyants of divine ear and eyes are regarded as a mental consciousness rather than a sense consciousness.
Wana shipate ne sote chingi la tene shiesona tende shipate ishi gibi jinse karar se waina ding chiron so chichina temba siwi jire ding ngalanga so shipate sote chingi la dance she disala ani dance karar se ne na mon dig jozel tende ur di dance te mares koro ne sote chingi ngo koro ne shipate ngon ros teres ngon ro ne shieste o dance te indwa ngonrone tente mai sito ne ta nju golde kai jo alse kai tin nju tente kro o ti tente ni ti tente te mare esro o ti ngel chi shi ta pa jite ngende ge jere song de esro.
And I think the another reason why these clairvoyants of divine ear and eyes must be mental consciousness. So which I think we which touched a little bit in one of the past teachings. So that is to relating to the fact that both of them are dependent, are arise by depending on the level of concentration, meditative concentrations. So depending on the meditative concentrations, and that is the main reason. One reason, and then now from this, if we ask why, if it's something dependent, if this depending on the mental concentration, then why this has to be a mental consciousness, and this is to. For this, we have to understand the meaning of the how it is dependent on mental consciousness. Which I think I mentioned in the last week's teaching, that it is the way this divine eye or ear, depending on this meditative concentration, is not like a cup. When you place a cup on the table, then it is depend on the table or supported by the way the table supports the cup. It's not in that sense. So rather, it is it arises from, in the sense, the arise by depending on this meditative concentration, in the sense that the meditative concentration, transform, change or develop, or transcendent, into this the state of this the clairvoyance, of like the divine ear or eye.
That you any Chupatela, Nishe Kanshila, Nedra Sepa Pumba, Singing your restaurant. Chupate, Nite Kanshila, Nedra Sepa Pumbate, Sozech Nishi Sinista.
And so the next, this sixth clairvoyance is called a clairvoyance of the extinction of contaminations or defilements. So this is, which is defined here as one of the six clairvoyances, which is free of all the obstructions to liberations.
Tela ta mama ngeshe nujiga ani lela tene shuada ani sheto chi shuada tene chriyo maresro kaisena ani nyedra ponko gares nyedra ponala ta leji to chi nyedra ponado tene chriyo maro te shevi to chi nyedra ponado tene yo marwa.
So the sixth one is not divided or classified in terms of that which arising from birth, karma, and so forth, because it's all it is the arising from the it is obtained upon the abandonment or the complete extinction of all the defilements or the mental afflictions, and so therefore, of course, the abandonment of afflictions doesn't happen because of the karmas or by the force of the karmas.
Wanata di kasnani li making issue zutarong as Congress in Chisuya Resra. Ni kanda shenga katiga li shantiga ni poche jatsto zutarong as Congress in Azuchi Resra. Dainza li shando li making issue in the Cho Carriores and a Tabachile Gores.
And then another the question that is raised here is relating to the difference between the clairvoyance of this divine eye, which is one of the this clairvoyant six clairvoyances, and then the divine eyes, which is listed in the one of the five sublime eyes, which we if you remember, which has the ability or to perceive the gross and the subtle forms, like from the within the sudden like the measurement of the bhakti or the yojanas. So we talk about it. So here, so there's there's a question of how what is the difference between these two, these divine eyes, which which was listed in the as one of the five eyes, and then the clairvoyance of divine eyes.
That the legend is a that thing here so li nishe castle li xie castle carshare or sena li xie castle poche jantua ni jantua so carium cres it is all ani chewa amigo normally shuares normal biung shuares ani tinishe tenza ani li xie tiga zuntaro tuate ani ngejin lech normal biung shuares
no
Tsering amigo lech normal biung shuares ani li making a shitty sendal ne sote gombala tene shungu resro zutaro tomate jesangatni ji tsengama normala tene shungu ji tsendiga sote gombala tene yungu dus ne chewat riji matu je samares.
So I think the difference is made on the basis of mainly on the basis of this the what factors which the causal factor which the which enable which these two eyes, of the five eye, which is which in Tibetan is Hei Chen, which the divine eye, which is one of the five eyes, or the five sublime eyes, and then this here the one of the six clairvoyances, the clairvoyance of divine eyes, which is the Mik Moshe. So it is to do with the factor, the causal factor, which because of which these two has the capacity, has the ability to perceive these various forms, the distant forms, of like the subtle and the gross and the subtle forms. So it's saying that this divine eyes of the which is one of these the five sublime eyes. So that for that eye, the main causal factor, one of the main causal factors is to do with the one's karma, the ripening of the one's past karmas, to do with whether which is a factor which has a lot of influence, effect on the how far and what form it can perceive or not. Whereas when you talk about the divine eyes of this in the context of these six clairvoyances, so it is purely based on one's own development of one's own concentration, meditative concentrations, the level of concentration which one gain in this current life. So it's so depending on that, so this eye, divine eye, has the capacity to see the ranges of these gross and subtle forms. So there is in this here there's the scriptural source to show this how these two the difference between these two eyes, two divine eyes of eyes is based on this the divine eyes of which is one of the five eyes, sublime eyes, which as I said is it's a result from or its perceptions. It depends on the effect, depends on the ripening of the past karma, and whereas the divine eye of the clairvoyant is primarily depend on one's the development of this level of concentration. So there's a quote from the Arya, Vimukti Sena. So his text called Nyinang, which is the clear like a light, or there's a commentary to the 20,000 line sutras. So there it's clearly mentioned that the difference is based on this.
맞아 기빠들에 다 맞아 하나 녀시 주포텔 맞아 절 시선 기빠 그래요 그랬어. 와 다티 기빠들에 내시왔다. 쇼근이 우다완데 노시엘레스 나와. 스자스니 소루 순자 십주나스 스자스니 소루라서 나 나와 노시엘레스인다. 순자 소루이다. 나와 순자 소루 나발라 남실레서 그래. 아, 그래. 나. 대 가르세나 다 제티 다 기파티 셰용 거래 가르세는 예시 주보는 또도 대소나 가래잖아 배 가래요르잖아 다 지대지 과타에 비 지대 비 네 장야서도 티터 그래서 다슈 절에 비 수진어지 네 다 지대 비 장야서도 티터 그래 네 세랑 하만에 네 소식 네 지대사가 되자 다 저도 저도 가는 고나에 봐는 제와라서 봐 하도 거도고요 그래서
세랑아마 소속을 취해 댕겨서
소속 지대사 되자 셴바데 지년사데 수지선을 제로와 아니 지대사가 네 소속이 되자더니 여러와 대 세랑 하면은 제와야 되네 저 학과에 하고고요 그래서 다다 고나에 봐 송에서 시시 있으러와
so then the next the heading of these 6 clairvoyances, which is about the purposes, what are the purposes of the achieving these 6 clairvoyances. So regarding this, so there's namshi ingyenwa. There in the Gyasabjes, the text, commentary called the ornament of good, explanations, or the essential explanations. So where it is said that the benefits of possessing these 6 clairvoyances is that one is to be able to having an ability to directly hear the sound or the teachings of the like for example the teaching given by the Buddhas, or Buddhas in the limitless, throughout the limitless, world to to be able to hear this, directly hearing these teachings, and also there's a benefit in terms of the exactly recognizing or knowing all these other, like sentient beings, with whom you have connections, in terms of the giving teaching to this teaching to the same sentient being, and also knowing these your connections, the connection with all these the sentient beings.
Tata kuna yepa shinsadi salani tazolni ramla ni zala sopa tene to sosola kipashi ani kipashi sare ani ta sosoka tel tawa topala sopi ke chitene ani tazot ne tawa topala sopi tushi yes.
And so knowing the sentient beings, past like the spiritual connections and with oneself, and as well as knowing where these sentient beings are in this at the moment, in the current time, and so therefore then there's by knowing this, where they are, then also to be able to through this miraculous power, through clairvoyant power, then to be able to able to contact, able to meet them directly, and thereby benefiting them.
Ne teinza ne konda ta jawa gen tun ne meno jawa na ji ne yede shebi jeno chongwa shu serwa yede shebi ge jeno ru yo res ne den rosona sosol kar yo sena soso senola supa la chimbu su su nyet zune ne zubi suji 공부 nyet toba la supi ge be yo res ro.
So as we can recall the quotations by the that first His Holiness Dalai Lama's, where he says, may I be able to meet all the favorable conditions of benefiting other beings, which says such as these 5 sublime eyes, 6 clairvoyances, and so forth. So therefore here, see how we can understand that how this the having such these clairvoyances and so on, how these are very makes one's one's the ability, one's capacity to benefit other sentient beings, so quickly and so easily, and thereby, because of this, then it's through this, because one is able to engage in the act of benefit to an infinite number of sentient beings, and so this means that you are also accumulating, infinite number of infinite like a merit, and so therefore all these qualities also serve as a quick cause for one to achieve the state of Buddhahood.
Da wana nga zo nene shepe da nge she tuyo ra nge she tuyo no to munga wote ne shiro pa da ne ni di do shonju se ma tsama la yes ko res yesi shepe nge she la supa da de ge yesi shepe nge she de shiro pa do ne ni di do ne da shonju se pa la supa ye wa ina de da xin de kan de xin se na de ka re yo se na ne xin se de rong do tu pa nyong ba rong do tu pa men ba la shi de res pena Shropati suso tupa memba da suso tupa nyomba da so shigiyor mato nyeti to shonju sambala supi tupa de ki shito mares den uji ki nyeti na zo tagare nyeti go suso tupa memba da run nyomba mato shonju sambala supi ko tupa de shito mares je sende shito madus den uji shonju sambala supa tagare koron ku to memba mato ne sujela supi ko je de sende ne shito mares shinse na de ne de res.
So the of these 6 clairvoyances. So the first 5 clairvoyances which can be possessed by even some outsiders, practitioners. And of course, then also possessed by those on the lesser vehicle, like the hearers, and solitary realizers, and the bodhisattvas, and so on. And then as to the level of this, the level or the degree of the power of the clairvoyances, where the capacity of the clairvoyances, such as the clairvoyance of knowing the minds of recollect or minds of other beings, and so forth. So then it is only you can only know the mind of the others who are equal to yourself, or those who are below, below oneself, but not the one above oneself. So therefore, this is to say, like for example, if those outsider who possess the such clairvoyant power, so they can only read the mind read the mind and to understand the spiritual realizations of the other beings who are only equal to them or to below and not above. So this also same to if you are a hearer, or if you are on a hearer's path, so depending on, of course, which or hearer or the bodhisattva's path, so depending on what level of the path you are, so your clairvoyant powers only limit to the limit equal to yourself or to the below, but not above loss.
That in Cheganga so Geshe Lobsang Savres, Rava, Geshe Lobsang. And that in all Topachi Karayosena, Sidang Geshe Tuka Yachi Paradeores. Inaya, only tell a lee making a shit, ni living a shit in a tiny nisha, Rava. That high ni Shipairova. I shipping a shelter, Tanita, J shipping a ship to lead shipping a ship in a tiny jam in the house. The majority is a carinas.
Lack of your own sticks over
that making a ship, living a ship in Yorova. No, that lying a ship, no, not the J, not just Umbongayo, no, Umbishipangayo, Nilamato jam in the
but we can also raise a question here. Now, that there's a mention of in terms of the divine, there's a mention of the divine ear and the divine eye, which is the term, two terms relate to the senses, like eyes and the ear. But why there's no divine, nose or divine tongue? Yeah. It's not mentioned in the scripture, by the way. So just curious. So what do you have anything? Why do you think it's not mentioned? There's no mention of divine, divine tongue or the. So what's that? Sorry. Why there's no in the mention of the divine nose or divine tongue, because there are five senses, Yeah.
He's saying they're lesser senses, they're lesser.
Lesser.
Yeah, like lower or less important.
Not important. Are you saying that the smells and tastes are not as important as perceiving form or the sound? Is that what your question is? Okay. Or are you talking about the experience of the taste and the smell? You has to be in a Yeah. So I didn't quite get. That could the sales like me do. The chicken the Tibetan rosage or other. Ko ongshi kind of ko tiny was my don young to my research. The chicken like me answer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We would hear the Dharma, or maybe we would see the Buddha or see a student or something that would have some value for the Dharma, whereas you wouldn't really sniff out the student or eat the Dharma. So, maybe not relevant.
But the church of the Dorje church, that soon said that go daddy that church, daddy catch more so. Church is the quiet and chewing them to Tobacella. Or the day man.
Kachimoina, Tomato Kachimora, Kalasa. Kalasa, Eliminajirata, Tomac, Kalachi, Rubatra.
Yeah. Shall I say this? Smell, food is so important for us, for all beings. And so if we have a good sense, good smelling, that can help us to find the food, where the foods are. Yeah.
You're not gaining information of teachings via your mouth or your eyes and your ears.
딱 그때 지당 다 마셔봐 쉐줘라. 되게 몽버스에 다 셔럽게 다 되게 디비디인주레스. 근데 셔.
다시 데레샤 고조시에 데레샤. 고조시에 데레샤. 되게 배셔 연바지는 통수로와. 배셔 연바는 가르세나 나이가 전화나 진짜도 나님 책을 그랬어.
그래.
또 거기 제가 좋아하는 소나 제도 좋아하는 책을 그랬어. 제 공부다.
그래.
제 공부다 좋아하는 책을 그랬어. 아니 릴라고 다가래 릴 레자데 노 리고 공부도 책을 그랬어. 미시발라서 뭐 라고 말해 주리모네 민통다 그래. 아니 주리모네 다니했다 그랬어. 제가 거기서 시바데 얘도 책을 와 있어. 아까는 마음에 와래서네. 드니지 시해준다 했어. 배제 전반이 통수 드니지는 드린다.
So what some of you have been saying might have, I'm sure, might have some explanations. You've given some light in explaining that. But Geshe said he found one text which says that to do with the way you experience the visual objects. You can see the visual object from the distance, and you don't have to have a direct contact. The eyesight doesn't have to have a direct contact. And so anyway, with the smells and then the touch, then you must have a direct contact. Otherwise, we cannot. That's what this other text says. Go on. Yeah.
I actually think I have heard something like sometimes people have clairvoyance where they smell a dead body.
Yeah.
A smell arises in the not the nose. It's actually mental consciousness.
Yeah.
And they know somebody died, evil died.
Yeah.
So it feels like there could be other senses involved because it's not through the sense. It's really actually mental. So it comes like a
이기 시바기 티마 고야야 말었어요. 자. 뭐게 가시게 이기 시바기 들다 동도 잡고도 첼랭 그디게 티마 하고 샀어.
아, 가능스.
이 시기로 와. 다지 동도 잡고.
아니, 이 시하고도 그래.
그것도 되게 지하고네. 이 시기 이기 시베 지하고네로 와. 근데 시투고에서 나다 가는 라야 되라. 먼저 티스도 옹보다 태워서로 와. 딜라고 하면고. 말했어.
예. 이 배셔 전반도 두수이나 안갈라 똑같은 시에서스로와. 울 칼라존은 이 토가 고그로 왔어. 정말 고그로 왔어.
나나.
울 칼라존은 이 정말 고그로 왔어.
라.
그래. 대치미진가 울로 가요 말아.
그래.
정말 호용도 와.
그래.
제장아네 대칸데 있나 상문데스.
나래.
이나 기셔야 돼요. 본데와. 나저 아니 치드업니질라 아니 치녀야 돼도. 치 고야지 알아. 치 고야 돼도 수진지야 돼. 다 좋으나 들어와다.
Yeah, that's so this is something open for your discussions. So what you are saying might be also is very true. We could have a mentally can sense the smell, perceive the smell. And then, as you said before, how in terms of the receiving teaching, so most important is hearing the sound is very important, and also have a direct, visually seeing the teacher is, his form is also very important. So therefore, these two are mentioned, and so that's, yeah.
Yeah. 기다려달라.
나와.
네 계시 되게 레라네 계시 주마가 놀라 네 그런 제드나시. 니나 놀래고 제드나시. 네 드니 세나는 Kejashi Dratinola Zeji Legage was as a Kodizal.
So Geshe said he's also, have a thought about that. When you talk about smell, the nose can only experience smell when some sort of substance, is touches to our nerve, nose nerve, and you smell that. So he feel that perhaps something in the ear, when we hear a sound, so something, sound wave or whatever you call, something have to touch, hit the hearing faculty. So from that perspective, looks the same. Yeah.
Tenichi Salangasuti Peshano Tenin Tuan so Kelaka Yomarisra, Nangasu Chiawachi, Zemundina, Uyanigrovasra.
Yeah, so this is the argument. I mean, Geshe, as he saw one text which says that the reason is because that with the hearing, the smell and the touch must have a direct contact, but we can make an argument for that, for the hearing as well.
Yeah, Pesha Yamatana Kosona, so Jinsel Tocheso, Jinsemena.
So what's important is you have to apply on your own reason, your own logic. It doesn't matter what text you find you are reading, but you always have to apply your reasoning. And if it doesn't satisfy your logic, your reason, then you cannot really accept that. You should not accept even you hear from your own teacher, or in this, when I'm giving teaching, if there's something, if you don't think it's not logical, then you should ask questions. Yeah.
It said in some of the ancient Indian traditions, some of the great yogis, they hear the inner music, they call nada, the celestial music, they hear divine sound, that I don't think has
Can you repeat that from the beginning?
Oh, in the Indian tradition, they say some of, not necessarily Buddhist tradition, but some of the high yogis, they hear the celestial music internally. They call nada. And but I don't think this is made by instruments. This is a mental hearing, which would be like a kind of.
Today, Kashegi such Nangbarang Marita tapped in the Kashanarwa, the Gom Jabs and Southern Gom Chesamba, and children the Chi, Drat in the Koyasharwa, and Dradi, the Mulling Tata Maritang Hayuni, she Tato Yorwa, the day Koya the Yoris, she could do so that into Kandina Lavsame.
Tatiamo Susunoana Ginger, Susunoa Chinetini, Sindramunda Sound and Ramana Coingrova.
No, how you need that in the Koya Yorvis is
Laya Dyer, Dyer, Timbegoni, lying over Chiduana Teneni, Tilechida quiet in the Keshe Reserva.
No, chewed down.
No chewed at the Koya Shears, no chili does it. How no chicken dosene, Tenindua. Tini Shinjila, yes, like da Yero. That is a quiet Kanina Kanchi.
Yeah, that's a very difficult to say whether when some people or we hear some sound, whether this is a real sound, I mean talking not sound in the sense of like whether it's an inner sound, inner voice, which is a real sound, or it's just in our mental imagination. But of course there is a, like even there's a one sutra called the drumming sound. There's one sutra. So where from the sound of the drum, which which send the message of Dharma, which teaches Dharma. Yeah.
What about people who are blind and they read Braille?
Sorry?
What about people who are blind
Yeah.
and then they read Braille? Braille? So they can only put touch. They They don't read it done by touch.
Yeah, right.
They're deaf and dumb.
So how do they?
You know, the blind language.
Yeah, yeah,
the
yeah.
little dots.
Yeah, yeah.
That you feel the language.
Yeah.
Feel the language.
So you're using touch to feel the language.
When they touch the things.
Blind people, you know, blind people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
The braille.
Yeah,
So they're using touch
yeah,
yeah, yeah,
instead of voice, instead of hearing.
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
They've got another sense of the deaf and dumb.
레자로 레자.
이거 랭자식으로.
레자식으로.
So when they touch, they. Yeah, yeah.
레자식으로.
답변에 미 샤워들이 열어와.
예.
그다지 다 랭자들의 그 디토는지 그런 소화를 하고 오라 가르가르면 어디 계시고.
레자문에 제가 좀 좀부터 뭐 하고 거기요. 레자문에요.
예.
내가 좀 파일했더니 요래.
예.
미šan주도 저 이해되는 게 되는 요래.
That's their body is like a tactile through the touch. You know, touch sensation. Then they can judge. They can understand the yeah.
It's like the braille is made, specially made for
루이스 루아.
raised,
Yeah, yeah.
so they can actually
Oh, the language. Yeah,
the language.
yeah,
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 Especially
yeah.
designed for them so they can
Yeah, yes.
and
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
루이스는 미사 요래.
No, no.
미샹굴 미해줘야가 루이스는 일리힐로.
re. 다 디기 코디 쉐디 가드 사고 있는 서비스를 그.
대 용어죠.
알라.
용어죠.
정답.
내가
다들 섭달 때는 하고 있나? 섭달 때.
섭달 때는데 길라빠지 조지 내가
more to be the
동부 라이트
네.
라이트 네 기존지 저거라.
네.
근데 마자장에 저바는 마자장에서 하고거든. 라백용네. 문데 그걸 좀 가이 가서 하고 그러.
라.
쇼장에서 하고.
Some gamblers too, 이렇게 say.
Some
when they
no see it's
they have some trick.
It's same.
So that's yeah, they because the what's it? The touch isn't which enable them to
Before
know,
learn, it's a touch,
which
touch,
communicate.
touch.
They can get information through the shape of the by feeling the shape of that the object. Yeah.
맞아 파이치로와 드노미샤고지 제다 용 디질하사야 용 그러 로타 주셔요.
La lobra.
롱에 그 로타
La.
미샤고 로타선 로타 좀 주셔.
La. Yeah, even in Tibet, Geshe like he say he know one blind person from his own town, and he kind of developed his own way of some communication, and then which becomes so successful. He was very good at that, and then eventually he established some kind of blind school in Lhasa.
Yeah, in Lhasa.
Yeah, so
Big Lhasa.
teaching that his method to others. Yeah.
Any question?
I still don't understand the difference between the divine eye, the sublime divine eye, and the divine eye of the clairvoyance. What's the difference in terms of the perception and in terms of the cause?
되게 쟁한 주요와
쟁한.
해 쟁세다. 아니 미경외시에서 나 야구 차고 마선서 개발도.
괜히 제와대 리先生이 그 보세 잔통화 니잔통화 지세된도와
그래.
대 생하면가 당 뭐저前面나 표하다 드니가 침비주기네 야부 표야 드니가 저월라 되는 휴장 유지에서
그래.
아니 리 나윙의 시생에대 리 메이킹의 시생에대 아니 센들 더가로네 소대 증기 공부할 때네 디그니 또 지금 통대화를 해서와 voilà 보세 잔자께서 지금 말해.
So I think main difference, I think we said before, to do with the cause, the divine eye, which is one of the 5 sublime eye, which we acquired mainly because of our past good karmas, like such as the karmas where we, like a offering of a light and so on. So this has some effect as a result of those good karma. So you have this, you have the divine eye of the 5 sublime. But whereas this clairvoyant, divine eye of the clairvoyant, which is purely based on one's own the accomplishment of one's own meditation in this life, through developing concentration.
And in terms of the experience?
Experience, what do you mean?
Like
Seeing.
what is
그런 게 유통을 개발 여러 배 쓰고서.
제가 이 통화 채워도 시행을 해서 딩을 리 시행이 되는 거. 리 시행이 때 보제 가지 인자 동화 있어요. 딘지 채워서한테 가르치는 생각이 너무 지금 말이에요. 단다 그런 보제 잠자 깨지 요마르서. 보제 지는 이는 지 깨지 요마르.
In terms of experiences, indeed, that sublime divine eye of the sublime eye, which as we see in the definition, there's the specification of the like seeing the form on certain distance, Pakse 100 and 200, whereas here there's no mention of the distance, so it's just subtle and the gross and the subtle forms.
Yeah.